Welcome back to Van Blam, and welcome back to 2-Minute Test Rides, where I get just a little bit of seat time and have just a little bit to say about it. No spec sheets, no BS, just my first-hand observations on a demo ride on real-world roads. This is the third of 3 test rides I did on a recent Indian motorcycle demo day at Motorcycles of Dulles in Dulles, Virginia. The first 2 bikes I rode were variants of the Scout, a compact and modern machine, sporty by American cruiser standards. The bike I chose for this last ride leans much more old school, the Chief Bobber Dark Horse. Being part of Indian Motorcycle's core Chief range, it sports a massive, loping, air-cooled V-twin, which they call the Thunderstroke. And look at those gigantic cylinders. When this thing is running, they feel like 2 beating hearts. Although this mill is a tad more modern than, say, a Milwaukee 8, there's still something raw and timeless about feeling those 2 big lumps of iron knocking around in there. The heavy flywheel and low-revving engine mean that your brain gets time to sense every individual combustion stroke as you crack the throttle. This powertrain gives you an awareness of itself that really makes the most of the human-machine connection that we all love so much about motorcycles. To make the most of that character, you're really going to want to change out the exhaust system. Believe it or not, that wasn't even the stock exhaust. That was Indian Motorcycle's factory optional slip-on. I'd suggest skipping right past that and going straight to the aftermarket. The standard Chief variants get the 111 cubic inch version of the Thunderstroke, while the Dark Horse Chief variants get the 116 for some extra poke. Normally, when you think large capacity V-twin, you think of a bike with monstrous low-end torque and little else. But I found that in addition to having effortless grunt right off idle, this bike was happy to be wound out.
I don't consider myself a cruiser guy, but man, I am not too good for this. Not at all.
Not much to say about cruising, other than that it's as excellent as you'd expect. Like with other massive twins, sustaining freeway speeds is nothing. Slowing down from those speeds is not nothing, thanks to the single front disc and 670-pound curb weight. I wish Indian Motorcycle had beefed up the brakes on the Dark Horse in addition to the engine. One of the reasons I was drawn to this Chief Bobber was because it has those big, fat, spoked wheels, a feature I think is so cool looking that I don't think I could ever bring myself to own a cruiser that didn't have them. I know they come with a penalty to the handling, but I actually found this bike did everything I wanted it to without getting out of sorts while leaned over, and without dragging any pegs. On the opposite end of the looks spectrum is the handlebars, these mini ape-hangers which are available as a factory option. Ape-hangers are one of the dumbest looking things you can put on a motorcycle apart from tassels, and I think they absolutely trash the visual proportions and overall coolness of any bike they're attached to. But damn it, I now understand why people enjoy riding with them. For some reason, these bars just feel so natural to hold on to.
Wow. I practically feel like I'm standing upright. Huh. This is my first time riding ape-hangers of any kind. I like the way they feel a lot better than I expected to.
I still wouldn't get them myself, but I will see ape-hangers in a different light from now on. Optional handlebars notwithstanding, this is an incredibly handsome motorcycle overall. I really dig the glossy Storm Gray that was on this 2025 model. The proportions, especially with the fat front tire, are just so perfectly timeless. This is one of the last motorcycles that should ever be equipped with a touchscreen and Bluetooth, but unfortunately it is. When you step up to the Dark Horse, Indian Motorcycle force you to get their Ride Command dash. This little wart of a dashboard not only adds connectivity features I'll never use, but also locks you into a lengthy startup animation and warns you that motorcycles are dangerous every single time you fire it up. If I were in the market for one of these bikes, I think I'd forego the Dark Horse's glossy paint and smidge of extra displacement and get the matte black standard Chief Bobber with the analog dash. I'd swap out the exhaust, keep the handlebars stock, and I'd opt for the mid-mounted foot controls. That, to me, is a formula for pure, undiluted motorcycling joy. The configuration I just described comes in at $15,000 US on Indian Motorcycle's website. That's roughly the same price as a Triumph Speedmaster, which also has a fat front tire. After my previous 2 test rides, I said I'd have a hard time not picking the Speedmaster over the Super Scout or 101 Scout, but at that price I would happily take a Chief Bobber over the Scouts or the Triumph. That said, the 2025 Chief Bobber Dark Horse in Storm Gray, just like the one I test rode, is currently available from Motorcycles of Dulles at a discount for just over 19 grand. At that price, even the smallest niggles I have with this bike stand out a lot more, from the egregious Ride Command to the unremarkable brakes, down to something as minor as this lopsided headlight bezel. I really like the Chief Bobber Dark Horse, but I just don't think the paint job and extra ponies are worth $4,000 over the base Bobber, especially considering that by the time you hit that $19,000 mark, you could easily get a Harley Lowrider S, which has more personality and way better brakes. Now, I want to know what you think. Is the Dark Horse the only way to go? Am I crazy for thinking Ride Command has no business being on this motorcycle? Let me know in the comments below. Many thanks again to Indian Motorcycle and Motorcycles of Dulles for making this demo day happen. Until next time, you all ride safe, and thanks for watching.